I think you had. I had said or seen something you had said about Sexyy Red. If I'm wrong, am I wrong? And like, look, there is a truth that like young girls are influenced by Sexyy Red, right? And if it's Sexyy Red or it's
Lotto,
whoever it is, right? Like the totality of all of that music and what's being pushed, it does have some sort of effect on the culture. But hasn't it always had that? Like if you go back to Little Kim or you go back to Foxy Brown or, and I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but this isn't new, right? Like what makes Sexyy Red different from like what Little Kim was doing?
Yeah, you know what the difference is? Hip hop has gotten older. So because hip hop has gotten older, you have OGs in hip hop now. So for every Sexyy Red that's in her 20s, you got somebody that's in their 40s or maybe their 50s who's been there, done that. And the role of OGs in the culture should be the role of OGs in life, which is we're here to mentor you and make it to where your learning curve can be even quicker than ours was, because we can pour into you. The problem with hip hop is you have OGs who are actually DGs. I call them disappointing grown-ups. You know what I mean?
That's some real shit right there.
Straight up, dog.
For sure.
These OGs are really DGs, and the reason why is because they want to be relevant with the younger generation. So much so that they'll sacrifice their knowledge that they've attained by living life for 30 plus years more than these younger artists. And they'll sacrifice that, or they'll sacrifice their integrity, and they'll employ something called willful ignorance. Meaning these older people in the culture, these older executives, these older artists who know better still choose to glorify things that they know are harmful, right? And they know it's harmful, but they're like, dang, that's what the youngins want to hear.
And like I'm not like it's like this, like you said, like there's at the end of the day we're in the music business, and what's good for business isn't always good for the people.
There you go. Keep going. All right.
So if what's good for business isn't always good for the people, and people got to pay their bills.
Stop. People got to pay their bills. Kev, my thing is, when I talk about these executives, you heard me? Kevin Lyles.
I'm about to say, how far up on the executive ladder are we going? Because a lot of these guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So
there you go. Yeah. So when the excuse becomes people got to pay their bills, when I'm speaking to artists who aren't starving artists, struggling artists who have made it and have become moguls and have become multimillionaires, as well as these executives, at what point is it like they can't use the excuse, I'm just trying to pay my bills?
No, because I'm talking about like on a lower level. Like let's say somebody has a production company and they find Sexyy Red and they look, I got this artist who's bubbling in St. Louis. And then from there it goes into the bigger totality of the system or whatever. I think that, like I said, I think there has to be some sort of balance, and I feel like for whatever reason, man, this beef with Drake and the way Kendrick kind of just pulled the mask off and the onion, each layer of the onion and on Drake's, like this whole shit I feel like has kind of like sparked like a ripple of like
consciousness.
Yeah, and it's been I just met Common and Pete Rock I met him before, but I just had a conversation with them, and I just think Common, like I almost cried thinking him, because I was like, bro, when I was a kid, bro, like you don't understand, like And then I was talking about like when I was a kid, we had whatever you were looking for that was in music, right? But what we did have that I don't see at least being pushed in the same way back in the day, there was like Raucous Records, and like there was like a semi-commercial outlet that people could find conscious music, like Talib and Common and like Mos Def. Like those guys weren't necessarily like commercial, but they were like accessible, like people kind of knew them. Like you could open up Double XL magazine and see a write-up on those guys, right?
Yep.
Or you could listen to like Immortal Technique. And like when I was a kid, like I learned so much shit about like the CIA and all kind of crazy shit just because Immortal Technique was there. For real.
Straight up.
And like I like right now, like the people doing that type of shit, whether it's yourself or whether it's artists who, it's just, there's just not like, it's not as easily accessible to the kids because it's not TikTokable. You know what I'm saying? Like, like it's not algorithm friendly. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going on like right now with like in Gaza and shit. I'm like, yo, who's the like big artist? I'm not talking about the artist who's like super underground. I'm talking about who's like there's not a big artist who's made a, like Macklemore though. Shout out to fucking Macklemore. Respect to him. But like, who's the artist that's gonna step up and like speak on that shit in a verse or something? You know what I mean? Like, or like educate, or you know what I mean? Just stand up and be like, yeah, like this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like when I was a kid, we had the Commons, we had Immortal Technique, and I don't know. Not to say that there isn't people out there that are doing that, but it's almost like so much more suppressed. You know what I'm saying?
If you master the art of cooking up and concocting delicious poison, and you know how to cook it up, then how to serve it to the people and serve it to the fan base that exists all around this country, what happens is they develop a taste for what actually contains a poisonous message, but because it's been force-fed to them and it's cooked so carefully with the flow, with the beat, with the hook, with the marketing machine behind it, now when you offer the people something different, they look at that like, that's nasty.
Right.
So that's where artists who are truth tellers, such as myself, people that are on a bigger mission, making purpose-driven music, you know what I'm saying? That right there becomes something where we have to master the art of still giving people what's delicious to them, which is the beat, which is the flow, which is the catchiness of the hook, which is the charisma.
The melody, whatever, yeah.
There you go. But along with the message. And that part right there is something that I don't think a lot of artists are up for that challenge, because they just feel like, man, I'm trying to do something to make this world a better place. Shouldn't my job be easy? No. It's never been that way. Anybody that has a heavy calling on their life that's meant to be a voice for the people, you might not be well liked down here.
Right.
You might have your people turn their back on you down here, and you still have to keep going because you know that this movement is bigger than you. The mission is bigger than your motion.